So when you say ENT as a subject, it may not be as romantic as a cardiology or
This statement of yours that it is not romantic. Being a doctor, I think, was most respectful job. It's because of them you are actually living your life properly.
if I'm not wrong, when you don't hear, there is also a problem with your speech.
I was myself shocked to see ENT has deaths too. Sometimes it is man-made. You shouldn't clean your ear with a key. Pencil, earbuds, keys, whatever you get is all in their ear. So the skin decides, okay, you're doing it, I'll stop doing it. Then there the problem starts.
Telling the parents in rural areas, look, there is a problem.
I have faced enough of difficulties. It is not a cakewalk for me. The day one when I went for the camp, there were people who just slammed the door on my face and said, Amma po. Because they were not ready to accept that the child was not hearing.
Welcome to Conversations. I'm Suresh Kochata. Usually, hospitals are not a place where a lot of interviews take place. We see more of patients, we see more of doctors, more of interaction between them. But today, we are here with a person who has really grown with the system and revels in it. Dr. Sunita Kumar, Chairperson and Managing Director of MAA Hospitals. And to understand from her how her journey began, how it's going, and where she goes from here, let's talk to her today. Namaste. ma'am.
Namaste, Andy.
So to start with, very basic question, Andy, first. Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Parents, siblings, can you take us through that?
Thank you for your time and being with the senior most journalist and a reporter. I'm very happy to share
Thank you.
my journey. Born, brought up Hyderabadi.
Okay.
Dad and mom come from an average middle class family, but very educated families. We hail from proper old city and Secunderabad. So
Okay.
it's a combination. Have two more siblings, two sisters. So we are three sisters together. In Hyderabad, it's like I was moving in and out to Hyderabad and Secunderabad almost every week.
Okay.
And studied from St. Anne's, Bularam,
Oh,
and did my college from Vanita Mahavidyalaya. And further PG courses and degree courses are all done by distance education because I was married very early.
okay.
So dad used to work for Road Transport Corporation, and mom was a housewife taking care of all of us.
So my question to you would be from when you, three sisters among you, and what made you transition into a person who would be in the hospital sector, so to speak, very broadly?
Broadly, being a doctor, I think, was most respectful job from the child when I was growing up, getting sick, going to the doctor. You have seen so much of exposure. You meet so many people, but the doctors were more respected in the society.
True, even
Because you even today, it's because of them you are actually living your life properly.
Absolutely.
So I always felt that that's the beautiful profession in which somebody can actually do something. But getting married very early, I had no choice of doing anything else. But straight away, I said, let me work with people in medicine and let me work closer to the doctors. If I'm not a doctor, it's okay. I can still work with medicine, right?
True.
So that's when I joined this famous ENT doctor, Dr. Meghnad.
So when you say ENT as a subject, it may not be as romantic as a cardiology or some other subject. It's considered okay, ENT, fine, ear, nose, and throat. That is there as such. But people don't realize the importance of that. And possibly they have realized the importance of it in the last maybe decade or 15 years when they started taking care of the ear. And ear pain is not just an ear pain or throat pain is not a throat pain, but there's something more to it. But what made you specialize, or rather, not made you specialize my ENT into a very forceful name today?
This statement of yours that it is not romantic, absolutely true. ENT was, underrated. when I actually joined Dr. Meghnad, when I told my cousin I joined, so and so doctor and he's an ENT specialist, she said, "What's there? ENT." But to the other side of the coin, I used to see him work so hard. He used to work for a ear surgery for 4.5 hours under the microscope. A fungal sinusitis case used to take 3.5 hours case. See, I had nothing to do with operation or anything else, but easing out a life of the ENT doctor is what I started doing. Is when patients were waiting out, I used to coordinate and say, okay, sir, this is the problem, this is it. Even in the theater, it was like we used to go talk to him and come back and say, Amma, you just go, we'll take care of you. So, meanwhile, what happened? It eased out his life.
Okay.
Patients here started working happily, and I take the entire credit of raising the standards of ENT. And that's when I said that ENT should be recognized, and the ENT doctor should get that decorum of what the cardiologist and neurologist actually get. Not only this, I saw deaths occurring in ENT at a very early stage when I joined the, this hospital and the doctor. I was myself shocked to see ENT has deaths too.
Which is news to me actually.
Yes. So this I saw 28 years ago. That's when I said, no way, there is something we really need to do. A huge corporate who used to give a very small room in for an ENT. But every day there were about 40 to 50 patients, ear pain. I think if you start writing a book of number of diseases in ENT, you could fill a 50, 100 pages just like that.
Even vertigo comes from that, isn't it? People
Absolutely.
usually, when I started reading about it due to one of our family friends having it, that's when I realized that, it's a
So
balance.
vertigo is completely a balance issue. But there is much more serious issues. Fungal sinusitis. There is something called mucormycosis, the post-COVID black fungus you have heard about.
Correct.
It eats away the entire bone. But Dr. Meghnad used to treat it even then. It's hyped up only after the COVID.
So 2001, you started your journey with MAA, if I'm not wrong. So what's it, 24 years now?
Yes.
40,000 surgeries?
We mark 25 years for the coming Feb.
Congratulations. So
Thank you.
in 40,000 surgeries, cochlear implants and all that. Now, a loss of hearing obviously is something like being visually challenged.
Yes.
Okay. Hearing as a challenge would be a big challenge for any parent.
It's more than visually being challenged. If you can't see, you're at least not bothered of what's happening.
You can hear it.
But if you can't hear, it's like you can see, but you cannot know what's happening and say what's happening.
What is it? If you look at entire India as such, pardon me, I have no idea about it, but just want to ask you, what would be the numbers looking at, like for an Indian population of 140 crores? How many people would be suffering from hearing-related ailments?
Hearing-related ailments in consolidation, I'll say around 10 to 12%.
That's almost about something like 14 to 16 crores.
Yes. That's the potential for ENT I visualize.
It's not a small number.
Absolutely. But not everything is very serious. Not everything is. Sometimes it is man-made. You shouldn't clean your ear with a key. But there are many people
pencil.
who have pencil, earbuds, keys, whatever you get is all in their ear. So the skin decides, okay, you're doing it, I'll stop doing it. Then there the problem starts. So there are issues like this, many. But more so considered in ENT is the hearing loss. And I specialize with cochlear implant children.
Which is what I want to bring you on, because in my previous work experience of a decade, I worked in a hospital where there were cochlear implant being given as a part of the NG, because not everybody can afford it, especially the poor can hardly afford it. And you are running through it, foundation itself through.
Yes.
So cochlear implant, in a sense, makes a person hear, if I'm not wrong, who has never heard before. How is it feeling when they hear sound for the first time?
Amazing. I think all this life I am a super contented human being because I am able to see so many kids and parents and extended families happy. they don't forget me for life. So their blessings are always with us.
If I'm not wrong, when you don't hear, there is also a problem with your speech, isn't it?
Absolutely. You don't hear, you can't speak.
So obviously it's a twofold advantage. They're not just hearing, but also learning
So
to
if
speak.
I can run you through me as a female, where I started my career in 2000, actually 97, but established the hospital in 2001. 2006 is when we started the cochlear implant program. So that happened with when I was not a cochlear implant center then, because Dr. Meghnath was always interested in rhinology, the nose. So we actually referred a case out to some other hospital which was doing cochlear implants. But then the doctor said, no, this is not the time, you have to come after 5 years. But cochlear implant story is early the better. So as the child is born, you identify the child is not able to hear, and then you implant them at the age of 9 months or 10 months, and then the child talks like you and me.
So, but how long does it implant stay active? Lifelong?
Lifetime.
That's a big thing, actually.
Lifetime. It's actually a big thing. That is the reason it is expensive.
So then what brings to is you need foundations like what you're running to do that.
Absolutely. So I think many children are blessed because during the Congress regime, the Dr. Rajshekhar Reddy Garu brought out this Arogya Shri scheme. I have around 500 kids who have benefited out of the entire scheme.
And cochlear implant doesn't come cheap. How much does it cost?
It costs around 5 lakhs.
For normal,
Only the implant.
for normal lower income families, that's a big drain of the resources.
That is the reason people who are potential in the hospitals, running hospitals, should come up with some kind of a funding agencies or CSR funds to give hearing to the children.
Which brings me to the question of MAA Institute of Speech and Hearing.
Yes. Now, I started 2006 the Cochlear implant program, and I started a foundation, MAA Research Foundation. So MAA Research Foundation started to help these poor kids, like to buy them batteries, to buy them the accessories for the cochlear implants and other stuff. But over a period of time, I realized that there was no audiologist who was ready to take up cochlear implant program.
That's a sad fact.
Yes, because they could not everybody can envision the future. So not everybody can envision how potential this particular subject is going to be. So it took a lot of time for me to convince people and get them back. But I can't forget few people who were there in my journey of cochlear implantation. Dr. Pushpa Srinivasan, the cochlear implant companies, Medal, Advanced Bionics, who have all been through our journey helping me wherever I could not, fill in the gaps, and that's how the program ran. Thanks to the government who had been supporting with different schemes, thanks to central government who has been supporting with different schemes. So all my job was pick the person, see which scheme they fit in, put them inside the scheme, get the implant done. Baki ka MAA Research Foundation has been doing free therapy treatments for all these kids.
One can understand a city. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
So once we started doing this, where do I pick kids from? We have this regular habit of conducting rural camps. So we go pick people who are it's called newborn hearing screening program. So we run that program, identify kids with hearing loss and bring them here.
So that requires a sensitization, if I'm not wrong, doctor, with telling the parents in rural areas, look, there is a problem. It is not something that you can just wish away. Most of them are not educated to understand that.
I have faced enough of difficulties. It is not a cakewalk for me. The day one when I went for the camp, there were people who just slammed the door on my face and said, Amma po. Because they were not ready to accept that the child was not hearing. It was quite very difficult in those days because nobody knew cochlear implant, nobody knew hearing loss, and there was a notion, child until 5 years will speak later. Thode logon ko, it will come late. These are kind of these notions which people wear.
There is a very famous person who did this, if you know, Chetu Shankaran Nair. You must have heard of this name. The movie Kesari 2 was made after him. He is a man who shook the British Empire. He could not speak
Yes.
till the age of 5. And when he started speaking, he couldn't pronounce one word for the rest of his life, which is R. Maybe there's a reason why he couldn't do it, but continue, doctor.
So when it was very difficult because it was the initial days, but I did try my best to get into the stream to do whatever best I could do. And yes, I have completed around 700 cochlear implant
Yeah, I
cases
was
by
reading
now.
about that. Wonderful.
Yes. So it's not only the free cases, it is people who could not afford were put into the schemes. People who could pay were offered better implants because, like the technology, there is always an advancement and you
Okay,
have
that's
the
true.
better ones. So we always, who could pay, got the better ones. But we did our best giving at least minimum hearing to whoever came to our doorstep. So in this process, the MAA Institute of Speech and Hearing, I thought that there was a dearth of good audiologists occurring in the society. So that's when I said, let's start good teaching. So the sensitization, as you said, if the child, whoever studying, is exposed to right situations, they will be sensitized to do something for that kind of society. So then the MAA Institute of Speech and Hearing was started.
Okay.
So we run BSc, MSc courses.
Oh,
Yes, and it's affiliated to Rehabilitation Council of India and Osmania University.
how's been the response from students for such courses?
See, this is a very specialized course. It's not like the regular BScs and
You
regular.
have something at the Manovikas Nagar here in Bowenpalli?
It's called AYJ,
Yeah, JYJ, yeah.
NIHH, and
Ali
MH.
Awarjang or something like
Yes.
that, yeah.
So that's the organization started by the government. So we come into private organization. So we always found that there are less awareness on this particular subject, and there is lot of students are supposed to come and work on this particular thing. So there are number of institutes in Telangana. We have 2 or 3 run by Swikar, the Helen Kellers, and now we started. But still, there is a dearth of good institutes on speech and hearing till date.
So one question I have for you. We understand somebody who is has a defect when they were born. But what you're seeing of late with the use of mobile phones, the use of ear devices which people use extensively, especially the young generation. Do you foresee a damage with extensive?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What's your advice to these people?
There was a principal earlier working with me, Dr. Udit, who came up with an R&D and did a exercise of our own hospital and college employees. We did call it as, will you get hearing loss in future? Was the question mark. It's called hearing sensitivity test. With that test, we have identified more than 50% of the younger generation. I was normal in the test.
You
Because I don't
it.
use not even the Bluetooth.
No, I'm talking
pods.
the Bluetooth. That's more dangerous, isn't it?
So people who have been using the Bluetooth and getting exposed with those things on a regular basis for more than 8-9 hours are prone to hearing loss in future.
Because you see anywhere, you get into a metro or anywhere for that matter,
Yes.
all these young kids are plugged into this kind of Bluetooth devices. And I often wonder, because even when I use it for even half an hour, I get a ringing feeling in my ear sometimes, and I just don't use it. It's there in my bag, but I hardly use it unless I'm in a public area where
No,
it needs
I
to be
think
used.
it's because of the generation issues. They are actually born with all those things. For us, those are
But
all
they should know
foreign
that
bodies.
there is a damage, isn't it, happening?
That's the reason it is always more than 8 hours.
So there is a sensitization that
You
needs to happen.
shouldn't listen it on a higher volume. You can listen it on a very
Mid-level
moderate volume, and it should not be too much of usage. You should keep removing it and using it for.
Or use a speakerphone.
So
for that
this part of it, I keep telling whomever I can see. But yes, if there's any national level program which can be done on this, I am in.
That's what I'm saying. It's urgently required because the damage is long term.
Yes.
It's not short term. They don't realize it till they reach 40 or something. I assume so.
Absolutely. No, I have seen kids not only having hearing loss, they have mental health issues too. They are so used to being alone and on by themselves.
That's true.
They would not like to have a social meeting anytime further.
Because doctor, when we are looked at the young, who were just born and having a problem. We looked at the youngsters. Now the problem starts with elderly. I mean, most of us, including parents we have problem with the hearing thing. We're seeing a lot of companies, Siemens and others, who are coming with devices, small devices, micro devices. Good thing. But do you think the elderly also have an issue?
See, elderlies, not everyone have an issue. It's again, through the age, that particular nerve is deteriorated and hence there's a hearing loss.
Is it something
It's
natural?
called sensory neural hearing loss. It's a natural process. But beauty is if you are using the device for the loss, you are actually living your life. If you don't use the device, slowly you will be detaching yourself away from the society. Now there is a group of people, conversations happening, and you don't follow the conversation. Next time you would avoid the group.
That means what you're saying is that if you don't use the device early enough, when you have a problem, as deterioration goes, as would a spectacle thing, that if you don't get a sight corrected, your hearing loss would increase.
Absolutely. Hearing loss will increase naturally. But using the aid will cover up that gap of which you are not able to hear.
Now, doctor, when you speak of health camps, which you said, you take care of those other part of it specific to ears,
Yes.
isn't it? ENT rather.
Yes.
But when you look at most of the camps that are held, the health camp, they're usually a cardiology or a specs for the visual stuff. How often are these health camps held by government across the board?
I have really no much idea about it, but yes, there are Anganwadi teachers who are allotted, and they are there to give lot of training and awareness programs on these kind of things. And I don't know how much you are aware, but people working on R&D of ENT are very less.
Oh.
So people like us who are working, we have an acoustic hearing screening van. So my driver, ENT doctor and the technician goes there, the audiologist does the screening program over there. The regular health camps with a cardiologist ECG machine are all visible, but ENT happens one in a day. So how many people will know about
Suppose
it?
I advise my wild thought. How about schools as a target audience?
I already do a lot of camps in schools.
Yeah.
Our doctors go and give awareness
What is the
talk.
percentage of damage among the young children? Here we are talking somebody who's between just born and teenage, somebody in between.
This is again majority on the lifestyle issues. If the parents are giving iPad to the child,
You have a problem. But most of them do.
But most of them do, but majority don't do also. Now there is a lot of awareness happening with teenagers also.
If you're addressing a parent, what would you tell them now?
I'll say just go back and understand how you grew up with your parents. You did not have a mobile phone. That means personal attention from the parents. You keep your child with you. If you're cooking, ask her to wash the vegetable and give it to you. So involve them in all the activities. Keep it grounded. See, when I talk about it, there is a difference. If a richer class of people, you have household available everywhere. Even then, if you can get out a little time for all these things, that will make major difference for the younger generation.
There is no dining table conversations anymore. Everybody meets at
luckily
different...
we have.
I'm not saying in your case, but I'm just saying generally across the board.
We are a sandwich generation is what I feel. I come from an absolutely no political, no finance, no background. My grandfather, well educated, my mom's dad. He was working for the Board of Secondary Education. He was a headmaster for one of the big group of schools.
Okay.
My dad's dad, we are Sri Vaishnavas, where he was into temple priest performing pujas day in, day out. From Old Alwal to Chandra and Gutta, he used to ride a bicycle, go attend, do the whatever commitment he has done, and he used to come back riding his own bicycle. So I have seen two different lives in the same time. So most hardworking people, smart working people together.
I think the middle class upbringing is very important.
Absolutely. Actually, should not rate it as middle class, but it should be more of grounded.
Grounded. Okay, that's the right word to use.
It's like having money is a different story, but doing things yourself, ask your children to do things themselves, making your bed in the morning is something which I completely believe in.
I think I heard one of the American generals speak about it. He said, forget everything else.
Suresh ji, you will not, believe if I say I cook for my kids even today.
Okay, that's wonderful because
I feel that love and affection is carry forward to whatever. I pack a box and she calls me, Amma, my lunch is done. I said, did you like the curry today? So these conversations are so very important for emotional bonding.
True.
And family bonding, and maybe that carried forward of respect to the elders is something which is really important.
Maybe a care as a mother, as a lady, as a woman helped you in this particular field, because again, as I come back to you, gynecology or cardiology or rest of the stuff, oncology, they are more hardcore subjects, I can say. Correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe this ENT allows you to be more flexible, more open to speak to people and talk to them, because one, literally, again, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not life-threatening. You said you see people dying, but then it's very rare, I guess. So do you think over a period of time, when you look back at your journey and you say, fine, what else can I do now? I've done so much, 24 years or 25 years, as you rightly said. What can I do more in terms of improving what India's, and I know you can't do it alone. You need a lot of other support from other doctors, other hospitals, government, everybody. But do you think where has India reached in terms of tackling this problem?
I think there's so much to do. It's not so much, it's so much to do. Screening programs on a regular basis in all the government hospitals should be available. Screening programs, awareness on hearing loss, and teaching them how important hearing is something very important. And Suresh sir, I don't think it is being a female or because it is ENT, it is more because I like the work what I do.
That's
it's more of passion. And it's like life, we have to grow in life. Grow in life is not money. Grow in life is how many people remember you at the end of the day.
That's exactly one of my last questions I always ask. Because, sorry, carry on. I interrupted your thought.
So this is something like, today I met you. I should be a lifetime remembrance for you. This is my goal. Yeah. Today I counsel a patient. It's not because it is ENT. There are so many diseases in ENT which are life-threatening. So don't say you have so many problems in ENT. You just come out of the camera and then we'll sit and talk 100 diseases out of it. But it's not threatening, it is threatening. But not like cardiology, orthopedics, your bone breaks and it is obvious. But you can't hear, your hearing is slowly going. There is something called as tinnitus. There is a ringing sound in the ear, which is, you can't show people that you have a problem. This is ENT. ENT is underhidden.
And as you said, rightly said, when you talk of vertigo, people don't even know that, or you can't even walk properly.
You wear a proper diamond necklace and wear a good sari and walk around, and people will think you're all fine, rich, super rich, enjoying your life, but there's a ringing in your ear.
And they take it light. It is not a heart attack.
No, it's not taking it light. You can't do anything. ENT, tinnitus, it's very hard to manage. If there's a patient coming to me with, Sunita, look, I'm having a lot of ringing in my ears, I'm like, oh my God, I can't help this patient.
Is that bad?
Yes.
And many people don't even know about it.
You just sit in silent. No, we teach them distractions. We teach them being continuously occupied with something or the other.
That is only if they come to you.
Yeah.
If they don't come to you, they don't know about it. They assume
Sir,
it's
at
just
the end of the day, I am trying to do quality work. Only if people reach me, I can do something for them.
So I think through this medium or whatever we are speaking, I think we should tell people, if you have any symptom with your ear, get it checked.
Absolutely.
Don't take
In fact, just like what you go for your health check, hearing, voice, whatever is your ENT related should be also addressed at least once a year. Get your hearing check done. That resolves.
That's a sad fact. But
so that's the whole reason for the newborn hearing screening program. My ENT runs free newborn hearing screening program for children below 2 years. Below 2 years, any child, any parent can just walk in for this test, get the test and take the report
At
and
any
go.
of your hospitals in the Twin Cities?
Here in Jubilee Hills.
Oh, in Jubilee Hills, okay. So my point again, as we come to the close of the conversation, is I often ask this question, you know, what do you want to be remembered as? And I'm sure as a mom, your children would obviously say, I want to be like my mom. That's what most kids tell about the parents. At least they say, we miss mom's cooking or whatever it is. But do you think when you're serving the society, you're a doctor, you're a parent, you have a lot of other societal responsibilities that you do. You speak at public forums, I guess. But maybe, you know, when you retire and when you even gone away, people should say, wow, this lady was... What
Sir,
is it?
until I, breathe my last breath, I think there is nothing called retirement for this particular
Yeah, that
field.
even here also. Yeah.
So keep doing the best of the best, whatever you can do, and keep giving. Maybe I cannot do it 12 hours, I will do it for 4 hours.
That's true.
Maybe I cannot do it for 4 hours, I'll do it for 2 hours.
But I'm sure that people will remember you for having made a difference in this field.
In the field of ENT, absolutely yes.
The most important. At 63, I'm still running around, by the way. Okay.
We take that energy from you now.
Thank you very much. So, in a sense, as we close this conversation and as we do, Doctor, we want to understand from you, what's your philosophy in life? Say it in one sentence or two sentences.
Live the moment, stay happy. You are not the only one in troubles. Every human born is in troubles. And give your whatever little you can give, please give something for others and keep doing good in the society.
Dr. Sunita Kumar, thank you very much for speaking to us at HyBiz today, and it was a wonderful conversation, and I'm sure I think you should speak a lot more so that
Thank
those
you so
people who
much.
can't listen will understand what it takes to start speaking better.
Yes, I say I think I have the best blessings of everybody. My parents, my grandfather, my family, friends, good friends like you, everyone who has been benefited out of the treatments here, counselings here from my ENT. I think I'm a blessed soul. With no background, I could give whatever best I could give to the society till date, and I just hope I do it until my last. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Sunita Kumar, Chairperson and Managing Director of MAA Hospitals. A passionate person who believes that a ear is not just a ear. It is not just a thought, but it's a process. And she has been working on it diligently over the last 25 years. And I'm sure, as she says, she will keep doing it for as long as it takes. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind.